Good morning, dear viewers of my channel. Today's review of events on the fronts will begin with the losses of Russian troops over the past day, from December 23 to 24, 2023. Today, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine announced the official losses of the enemy. The total number of personnel is 353,190 people, plus 800 military personnel. Tanks, plus 4, armored combat vehicles, plus 17, artillery systems, plus 28, UAV, plus 20, cruise missiles, plus 1, automotive equipment and fuel tanks, plus 27, special equipment, plus 6. Destroyed, 14 shock UAVs, shaked 136, 131. The situation on the front as of the end of December 23, 2023, the fighting on the front remained relatively stable on December 23, 2023. The heaviest fighting was concentrated in the Donbas region, where Russian forces continued to try to advance. Ukrainian forces repelled all Russian attacks in the Avdiivka area. Russian forces made some gains in the Sviatove and Bakhmut areas, but they were unable to achieve any significant breakthroughs. Let's take a closer look at this information. Northern Ukraine remained relatively quiet, with no significant changes reported. In the Sviatove area, Russian forces continued to try to consolidate their positions in Sinkivka. Fierce infantry battles continued near Ivановka. Russian forces made significant gains to the east of Ternov. Attempts to advance on Ukrainian positions continued. The situation in the Serebryansk forest is difficult, with Russian forces advancing near the power line and south of it. In the Bakhmut area, Russian forces attempted to improve their tactical position near the river in Bilohorivka. The position in Spirny was clarified, and the positions were retaken in the fall. Russian forces are conducting an active offensive operation with the goal of capturing Chasiv Yar. In Bogdanivka, Russian forces managed to advance 300 to 500 meters into the village. North of the village, Russian forces are heavily entrenched in the plantations. According to preliminary information, Russian forces were unable to consolidate their positions at the cemetery and withdrew. A large number of Russian forces are accumulating near the motorcycle track in preparation for further offensive actions. The situation near Kromove was clarified. Ukrainian positions are still holding. At the same time, Russian forces are increasing pressure on Ivanivka along the highway and from Daka settlements. In the Avdiivka area, Russian forces intensified their activity between the railways, with the logical goal of approaching Ocherityne. Every day, Russian forces enter Stebnoe, and every day they are repelled. Despite this, the enemy's infantry is not refusing to go for destruction. The situation was difficult at AKHZ on December 22nd. But, according to preliminary data, the massive assault was repulsed. There was no news on the change of front from DFS to Zenit. The enemy wants and is trying to gain a foothold at the crossroads of landings south of Severny. Katsups continue to advance in the middle of Pervomaisky, with the aim of cutting off Espeshki, which are closer to Pisky. The fighting continues. Katsups took up a landing southwest of Marinka. Near Novomikhailivka, the enemy was also knocked out of the farm, but they shifted the main attack along the ravine to the center of the village, similarly to Pervomaisky, in order to cut off the main forces, which in the eastern part of the village. The Berdyansk area remained quiet. In the Zaporizhia area, Russian forces continued meaty assaults near Robotyne. No changes have been recorded at this time. It is known that the enemy's losses are colossal. However, the overall situation of the Ukrainian forces in that area is not dominant. In the Tavria area, Russian forces continued to lose people and equipment. The downing of 3 Russian planes near the occupied territory of Crimea is a good success that should affect the frequency of the use of guided bombs by the Russians. Analytical note. The most difficult and intense section, along with Avdiivka, is now the Bakhmut area, where Russian forces are conducting an offensive operation along the entire front in a strip of approximately 22 kilometers. What is happening between Bakhmut and Chasiv Yar, as well as why it is so, will be the subject of a separate publication. The enemy is taking serious measures to push back the Ukrainian forces behind Zerabets. The goal, which was set a year ago, is still relevant for them.